As soon as we're on. Oh. Good evening, councilors. The City Council will convene on Thursday, May 25th, 2023 to hold a regularly scheduled City Council meeting at 7:30 for the purpose of discussing any and all business via in-person and remote participation in accordance with Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws. Remote participation is allowed in accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, signed into law by Governor Healy on March 29th, 2023, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Section 30A, Section 18. Alternative public access to this meeting shall be provided in the following manner. 1, the meeting will be televised via Peabody Access Television. 2, real-time public comment during public hearings can be addressed to the Peabody City Council utilizing the Zoom virtual meeting software for remote access. This application will allow users to view the meeting and make comments or questions to the chair via the audio option. Please now join me in a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilor Gould. Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor Gould. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Moving into hearings this evening, we'll start with item 4A. The clerk will read the notice.
Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Peabody, acting as the special permit granting authority, will conduct a public hearing on Thursday evening, May 25th, 2023, at 7:30 p.m. in the Frank L. Wigan Auditorium, 24 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass., and remotely via Zoom on the application from Adriano Tagino, care of A&A Properties, LLC, 98 Main Street, Peabody, Mass., for a special permit requesting to amend special permit 24-2015 and 11-2017, specifically to amend condition number 14 of 2015 to change hours of operation from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days per week to 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days per week at said 98 Main Street, Peabody, Mass., as filed in accordance with sections 4.2.5, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance. For remote participation using the Zoom platform, please visit www.peabody-ma.gov under calendar on the homepage or contact the City Clerk's office. Peabody City Council, Councilor Craig S. Welton, City Council President.
Thank you, Clerk Danforth. With the the petitioner's representation, please introduce himself and tell us what you'd like to do, please.
I'd be happy to. John Kelty, attorney at 40 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass., representing Adriano Tugino, the owner of property in the name of A&A Properties LLC at 98 Main Street, Peabody, Mass. Property is Zone BC. I was here several years ago, that being 2015. I obtained a special permit for the for the same use that we're intending to pursue this evening. However, from the time of the original grant of permit, December 17th, 2015, until now, my client has identified a slightly different customer base, and as such, he'd like to change the hours of operation. Councilor McGinn had reached out to me to ask me specifically what had changed, and my client reported to me that he wants to be able to be open in order to be able to have patrons in the evening after some of the services at the one of the Brazilian churches, and those quite often, some of the services take place at night, and then there are also religious and cultural meetings that are taking place at night, and so he's asked for this amendment. With that, I would thank you and be happy to answer questions that you may have.
Thank you, Attorney Kelty. Is there anyone here in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this petition? Seeing none, is there anyone on Zoom that would like to speak in favor? No? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in opposition to this petition? Anyone on Zoom? No? Okay. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. As Attorney Kelty's indicated, this is a simple request to adjust hours, and he explained the rationale why. I've spoken to some of the abutters, including the Knights of Columbus, and the KC has no objections as long as the parking conditions remain in place and are honored by the applicant. I think it's pretty straightforward. I'm supportive of it. I'd defer to other councils at this time.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Any other councils? Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Attorney Kelty. What does the petitioner do? What goes on at 98 Main? At 98 Main that we need to extend the hours? I'm not familiar with the...
The original permit was a cafe bakery, and that's still the intended use of the premises. And as he builds that out, that's what he's completing the build out, and we're asking for these changed hours for the cafe bakery.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Gould. Any other councilors? All right, seeing none, Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to close the public hearing.
Councilors, you heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. All in favor, any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to approve the application from Adriano Togino, care of A&A Properties, LLC, 98 Main Street, Peabody, Mass., for a special permit requesting to amend special permit 24-2015 and 11-2017, specifically to amend condition number 14 of 2015 to change hours of operation from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days per week to 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days per week at said 98 Main Street, as filed in accordance with sections 4.2.5, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance with the following condition: all conditions from special permit 2015-24 granted on December 10, 2015, and special permit 2017-11 granted on February 23, 2017 shall be applicable to this special permit, except that condition 14 of special permit 2015-24 shall be modified to state business hours of operation shall be from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days per week. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, you heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Daigle.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Rozignol.
Yes.
Gamache. Yes. Melville.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you, councilors.
Okay, councilors, we're moving on to item 4B, a special permit for 55 Pulaski Street. Councilor Peach.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, I'd like to receive item 8M, which is a request to continue this until our June 8th hearing to allow the applicant to work closer with the neighbors to landscaping details, which is in the works. So moved.
Would you mind amending the motion to receive and approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Peach. Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor Peach. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Thank you, Councilor Peach. Moving on to item 4C, special permit for A&P Borges LLC, 100 Bernie Street. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8N. So moved.
Councilors, you heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. 8N is a request from the petitioner for a continuance to the June 8th meeting. This is a special permit request for a contractor with outdoor storage. The outdoor storage component of the permit, my understanding is they're going to significantly modify the site plan, so this continuance will allow time for that modification. So move to approve the continuance, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Moving on to item 4D, special permit for Augustus LaFace President, Mike's Custom Auto Body, 100 Bernie Street. Counselor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8L. So moved.
Thank you, Counselor McGinn. Counselors, have you heard the motion from Counselor McGinn? Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote. Counselor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8B. So moved.
Thank you, Counselor McGinn. Counselors, have you heard the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote. Counselor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. So item 8B is a memo from Attorney Kelty regarding the various parties, the ownership, the owner of the property and the applicant, owner of the business for the original special permit application. The intent of this memo was to provide clarity to the council on who the various parties involved in this business were. It has come to light that the ownership interest in the property as well as in the business itself have changed, which results in a special permit application that is essentially provided to us from the wrong parties, assigned by the wrong parties, and so forth. So 8L is a request by the applicant to withdraw their application. So I would move to approve the request to withdraw the application without prejudice. So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor McGinn. Counselors, you've heard the motion from Counselor McGinn. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote.
Mr. President.
Excuse me, yes, Counselor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. While we're here, just kind of, if you would give me a moment of latitude, it's related. I would move to receive item 8P.
Counselors, have you heard the motion from Counselor McGinn? Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote. Counselor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. So 8P is a new application for the same property with the correct owner interests in both the property and the business. So the request is to receive and set up a public hearing. So moved.
Thank you, Counselor McGinn. Counselors, you've heard the motion from Counselor McGinn. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor McGinn. Thank you, Counselors. We are now moving on to special permit item 4E, JG Backland Realty Trust, 190 Rear Newberry Street. The clerk will now read the notice.
Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Peabody, acting as the special permit granting authority, will conduct a public hearing on Thursday evening, May 25th, in the Frank L. Wigan Auditorium, 24 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass., and remotely via Zoom on the application from J.G. Backland Realty Trust, 6 Jersey Lane, Middleton, Mass., for a special permit to authorize construction of a 60-unit residential facility pursuant to the provisions of the Residential Overlay District at 190R Newberry Street, Peabody, Mass., as filed in accordance with Sections 4.2.5, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance. For remote participation using the Zoom platform, please visit www.peabody-ma.gov under Calendar on the homepage or contact the City Clerk's office. Peabody City Council, Councilor Craig S. Welton, City Council President.
Thank you, Clerk Danforth. With the petitioner's representation, please introduce yourself and let us know what you'd like to do.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the City Council. My name is John Kelty. I'm an attorney. I have offices at 40 Lowell Street here in Peabody, Massachusetts, and I'm at this time appearing on behalf of J.G. Backland Realty Trust, the owners of 190 Rear Newberry Street. This request for a special permit is the request for 60 residential units. This matter has been before the City Council on a number of occasions, been before the Conservation Commission and also Planning Board and Construction Review Committees. We did walk away from here with an approval a couple of years ago when it came to the effort to build the facility. My clients revisited the application, had it re-engineered. Originally, the city of Peabody runs a sewer line, a major sewer line that runs from West Peabody down through to the sewerage station, pump station at Walnut Street in Peabody, and then via the pump and utilities that are installed down there, it eventually gets to South Essex Sewerage. That pipe, as it stands today on our land by virtue of an easement, that pipe is some 18 to 20 feet below the surface. Our original plans called for us to bring in considerable amount of fill, adding to the depth of the sewer pipe, the sewer connection pipe. So over the last couple of years, we've taken the amount of fill from that 12 or so feet. We're down to building it at grade. There's one portion. We've eliminated all retaining walls. As public services directors changed, kind of the approach changed in some aspects, and now we've finally gotten this project down to a point where we've had it approved by Conservation Commission. It's been through peer review. All of those efforts have been realized. At our last I spoke, there were some 5 issues that were outstanding. One being a peer review closeout letter, which we have. Second being there were outstanding taxes. I was able to, with the assistance of Councilor Marsh, we were able to get the paid receipt, which I believe is evidence of the payment from the collector, which is item 8H in your package. Conservation has provided a memo and now has actually written an order of conditions, but has also provided you under 8R, they provided you with conditions that they have recited in their order of conditions. Community development had not restated their support of the project for this most recent filing, and that has now been accomplished with the director having provided a memorandum. Captain Richards for the Peabody Police Department in item AQ has essentially signed off saying that he's examined the plan and that he's satisfied with the changes we made, which were substantial changes being made to the access through the existing parking lot out to the back. So I think those were the outstanding items that needed to be buttoned up or responded to where they had been left some months ago, kind of out in the open. Now they're closed. And I believe we're in a position to ask for approval. We have complied. Took us a while, but we've complied with Rule 18 saying that all our other permits, is it 18 or 17? 18? 17. 17 saying that we need all of our other approvals and responses in advance of coming to the City Council. So we seek your support this evening. Arthur Pimental and Robert Danisco are here. If the board should have any questions, if the council should have any questions for them, once again, this is a 60 unit residential project that will need be in compliance with the overlay district, which suggests that we need to apply 20% of our units as affordable, and that would result in the allocation of 12 units affordable out of this project. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you, Attorney Kelty. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this project? Anyone on Zoom who would like to speak in favor of this petition? Seeing none. Anyone here who would like to speak in opposition to this petition? Anyone on Zoom who would like to speak in opposition? Yes, okay. If you could please introduce yourself and state your name, and your address for the record, please.
My name is Russell Donovan, 12 Quill Road, South Peabody.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan. If you could share your opposition, that'd be great. Thanks.
Well, I'm confused here because a number of years ago when this development came up, they talked about 60 condominiums. Now it's being referred to as units as a residential facility. And I don't know the definition of that. I don't know what that means. I tried to look it up in zoning and there's no definition for a residential facility. So what are we having here?
It'll be condominiums.
And as originally you said, 20% will be affordable?
I did say that.
What's affordable nowadays, Jack?
The exact number on sale units depends. It does change. I think most recently we're at about 4 units, for instance, that are at 700 and the low 700s. I think the affordable price is 276 or some odd. But that is set by our community development department in conjunction with the Massachusetts housing programs that say that people should be able to rent and or buy by utilizing no more than 80% of their available income. So
they're
those
gonna be
numbers are set by,
condominiums?
pardon?
They're going to be condominiums.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in opposition on Zoom? Seeing none, turn this over to Councilor Gamache. And Councilor Gamache, if you wouldn't mind accepting all of the communications.
First thing I'm going to do under
Thank you.
suspension of the rules is to move to receive item 8C, 8D, 8F, 8H, 8J, 8K, 8Q, and 8R. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Councilors, you heard the motion from Councilor Gamache. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor and opposed, it's a vote. Councilor Gamache.
Yes, if I may, the council's been looking at this for 11 months. Unfortunately, there was delays in certain things, and we're here tonight basically with all of the approvals that have been requested from this council under Article 17, that everything has to be in order. Most of these correspondences that I've received have been approved by the certain boards that we have, specifically conservation, planning, or community development, and those are going to be part of my request for conditions. And I just want to give the council a preview of my conditions in case I have left anything out. But those conditions will be related to community development. Their request would be create a gathering area and bike racks for the tie-in to the bike path at the rear of the property. This is a 25% approval at the community development stage as we speak, and that they want to be able to utilize some of this property for the beginning of the bike path bridge that's going to go over Route 1. The other item is coordinate with community development a lighting plan for the access road, which has been submitted to us from Kurt Bellavance. The other item is that the 12 affordable units will remain in perpetuity for as long as the city has affordable housing plan. Under the health department's request, the dumpster shall be stored inside the building and will also need to have an integrated pest control management plan based upon her recommendations, so those will be part of the conditions. The DPS memo dated 5/4/23 with 22 conditions be incorporated with the conditions to this permit. I'm not going to read them all. That was dated 5/4. The applicant shall comply with the order of condition issued 5/23/23 with the DEP file number 055-0912 and that's part of the order of conditions from Conservation. Plans dated 5/18/2023 that were submitted to the city clerk also be incorporated in this special permit approval, if it is approved. And item number 8, that the site plan submitted dated 5/15/23 to the city clerk will also be incorporated in this approval. And I'll open it up to the rest of the council. I do want to say that I did receive a phone call from Audrey Gordon and Rich Reed, who are property owners on Pine Street, that are in favor of this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Any other councilors with any discussion on this matter? Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Councilor Gamache, on the original permit, there was condition number 4 with respect to a permanent speed reader board would be provided to for the Peabody Police Department to monitor. I think there were traffic and speeding and safety concerns up on Pine Street at the time. Is that no longer on the table?
Councilor Gamache.
I overlooked that, and I did see it in there. I don't know whether the council can condition that type of a thing on a permit, but I will glad to add that to a speed radar that is located on Pine Street, if it is admissible, if it is approvable. Let's put it that way. You okay with that, Jack?
To the extent that it's still needed, sure. I think that since that original, there have been some improvements and changes made, but if it's something that Captain Richards comes forward with saying, yeah, we do need that, we do it.
Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would agree with that, Councilor Gamache, if you could run it by Captain Richards, if there are concerns. If he feels that the changes that have been made have improved things, I'd like his opinion on that, of whether they need the speed reader board. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may, that condition would be that a signboard radar for Pine Street be coordinated with Captain Richards.
Thank you very much, Councilor Gamache.
Thank you, Councilor Manning Martin. Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Any other councilors? Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, so first I want to thank Councilor Gamache for kind of allowing me to provide him with a fair amount of inputs on this. The timing was such that the residential overlay zoning came into effect at a point in time when he wasn't on the council, so we're very happy to kind of take a hard look at this and try to identify some of the gaps as it related to the particular application, and kind of as it compared to other applications that we've seen, most recently the application that Councilor Daigle helped us with in Ward 4 on Prospect Street. I'm appreciative to the applicant for filling all these gaps. Attorney Kelty mentioned, kind of rattled off a number of them at the beginning of his discourse, and most of what we received in the package tonight filled those gaps, and so I'm happy to say that as I look at this now versus where we were a month or two ago, I'm satisfied that the information is now complete. With respect to the elevations, Attorney Kelty, I did look back at the special permit hearing from the original special permit hearing. I know that community development at that point in time had raised some concern about the exterior building materials that are going to be utilized. Can you tell me what the materials are going to be? I couldn't make that out from the elevations that were provided. They just to cut to the chase, there is a in the design criteria for this overlay district, it's vinyl siding is prohibited, and I just want to make sure that that one didn't slip through the cracks.
Will not be vinyl, or that your last statement said that
It should not be vinyl.
Then it'll be, in all likelihood, I think our renderings did show vinyl, and we'll have to convert that and get that approved from conservation, from community development, but it would more likely turn into a synthetic, kind of a hardy board type exterior.
Councilor Gamache, if you could just add that to the list, just because that was one that I did see raised previously, and I didn't see that on the elevations they provided. I'm not sure they need to work with community development. I think they just need to correct that the exterior materials will not be vinyl. Thank you. So, again, Mr. President, I'm after a pretty thorough review of all this, I am convinced that we have what we need now, and I intend to support this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Any other councilors who'd like to speak on this matter? Seeing none, Councilor Gamache.
Yes, I move to close the public hearing.
Councilors, you heard the motion from Councilor Gamache. All in favor, any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Gamache.
Yes, thank you. At this time, I move approval on the application from J.G. Backlund Realty Trust, 6 Jersey Lane, Middleton, Mass. for a special permit to authorize construction of a 60-unit residential facility pursuant to the provisions of the Residential Overlay District at 190 Rear Newbury Street. Peabody, Mass. is filed in accordance with sections 4.2.5, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance with the following conditions. Condition 1, work with community development to create a gathering area and bike racks for the tie-in to the bike path. Number 2, coordinate with community development a lighting plan for the access road. Item 3, the 12 affordable units, or 20%, will remain in of affordable housing, will remain in perpetuity for as long as the city has affordable housing plan. Number 4, the dumpster storage shall be inside the building and have an integrated pest control management plan. Number 5, the DPS memo dated 5/4/23 with 22 conditions be incorporated with the conditions of this permit. The applicant shall comply with the order of conditions issued 5/23/23 DEP file number 055-0912. Number 7, plans dated 5/18/2023 that were submitted to the city clerk be incorporated with this permit. Number 8, site plans submitted 5/15/23 to the city clerk also be incorporated with this plan. Number 9, signboard radar for Pine Street be coordinated with Captain Richards for his approval concerning traffic issues on Pine Street. Number 10, that the external materials will not be of vinyl, and they must meet the specifications of the overlay district. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor Gamache. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Daigle.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you, councilors, and have a nice weekend.
Thank you, councilors. We're now moving on to reports of committees. First up, Municipal Safety Committee, Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Municipal Safety Committee met this evening with myself as chair. In attendance, Councilors Gamache, Gould, and Rossignol, and also Councilor Daigle sat in for Councilor O'Neill. There was one item worthy of discussion this evening, and it involved discussion on having not a throughway or not throughway signs placed up in the Brooksby Farm area, up in the Hog Hill area. And Councilor Gamache updated the committee indicating that there had been a neighborhood meeting where Captain Richards had attended and said that that this would not be enforceable to take that type of action. And the neighbors at that neighborhood meeting expressed that since Logan Express is now relocating, the issue of it being used as a cut-through wouldn't be that much of a concern for them. So that is a report of progress out of municipal safety. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Manning Martin. Now moving on to the report of Finance Committee. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee of the Peabody City Council met early this evening. Present for the committee were Councilors Gamache, Gould, Manning Martin, and sitting in for Councilor Turco was Councilor Melville and myself as chair. Also present were Councilors Welton, Peach, Daigle, and Rossignol. There were 2 items on the agenda. The first item was a transfer request, transfer of funds, PVMHS HVAC control upgrades, an amount of $180,000, and center school flooring, an amount of $325,000. These items were presented to us by His Honor the Mayor. The mayor indicated that the $180,000 portion for the high school was, the total requirement was closer to $1 million, but that grant and ESSER monies had been identified and utilized for the purpose of this HVAC upgrade in order to keep that system serviceable for the foreseeable future. There was a motion made by Councilor Gould as follows. Move to approve transfer requests, account number 1000000035901, unreserved fund balance free cash, amount of $180,000, to account number 300000005823232 30000000405 PVMHS HVAC control upgrades, an amount of $180,000. Mr. President, that motion passed the committee unanimously. I now bring it for consideration of the full council. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilor, have you heard the motion from Councilor McGinn? Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Daigle.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Gamache. Melville. McGinn.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next item on that request was a transfer request for the center school, which was also presented by the mayor. This has to do with the abatement of some, I believe, asbestos flooring. The mayor did indicate as a heads up to the committee that other requests for the center school would be coming, that this was the initial request for a project that they hope to undertake this summer. With that, the following motion was made by Councilor Gould. Move to approve transfer requests, account number 1000000035901, unreserved fund balance free cash, an amount of $275,000, and account number 2700000333015, receipts reserved for projects, amount of $50,000, to account number 300000005823220230000000406, center school flooring, an amount of $325,000. Mr. President, that motion passed the Finance Committee unanimously, and now bring it for consideration of the full council. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Daigle.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Councilor McGinn.
Thanks, Mr. President. The next item on the agenda was transfer of fund request opioid response, amount of $316,726.98. Mr. President, that was presented to us by His Honor the Mayor, who explained that we will be receiving funding as a result of the opioid settlement over the next 15 years, and that a program is being developed to bring in staff to provide support services for people in the city that have been impacted by the opioid epidemic. With that, we should expect more of these transfer requests over time to go to be utilized for that specific purpose only. And the following motion was made by Councilor Gould. Move to approve transfer request, current revenue opioid settlement, account number 10000047121, an amount of $316,726.98 to opioid response, account number 10050501520230000000000, an amount of $316,726.98. Mr. President, that motion passed the Finance Committee unanimously. I now bring it for consideration of the full council. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none,
Councilors Daigle.
Yes.
Yes.
Gould. Rosno.
Yes.
Gamache.
yes. Councilor McGinn.
Committee.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Can I move the motion as one resolution?
Mr. President, motions this evening.
Thank you, Daigle. Councilor Peach.
Thank you. Under the rules, move to receive item 8I.
Councilors heard the motion. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, in favor, any opposed? It's
President, for information, 8I is a project list that the Director of the Council on Aging, Carolyn Wynn, presented to us at our last meeting, and on your desk this evening was a flash drive that she put together for easier access if you want to view the different things that they've been doing over at the Senior Center. I also have two other motions this evening. Move to request a handicap sign in front of and along the property line of 15 North End Street, and that an ordinance be drafted and advertised on the same. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Peach. Councilors, have you heard the motion from Councilor Peach? Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Peach.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to request a stop sign at Monroe Court and Monroe Street. This is in light of the Peabody Car Wash changing the traffic for the flow there, and that an ordinance be drafted and advertised on the same. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Peach. Councilors, you heard the motion from Councilor Peach. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Peach.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to wish everyone a nice holiday weekend and hope to see people at the parade on Monday for Memorial Day. And since May is almost over, I'd like to have everyone save the date in Ward 3 for their 4th of July party. We'll be at the Carroll School, Connolly Park at 9:30. You know, kind of same deal. So it begins. I see your face, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Peach, and thank you for jumping the gun as early as you could to get ahead of it for 4th of July. So appreciate it. Thank you, Councilor Peach. Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the upcoming weekend, as Councilor Peach, reminds everyone of the parade, I just wanted to give a shout out and a thank you to the anonymous donor who donated yet another, it's a different anonymous donor than the original one, but another anonymous donor donated a vehicle for our Veterans Shuttle Program again this year. So we've added to the fleet, and I wanted to thank that anonymous donor and all the drivers of that program too that are driving for the veterans. I want to thank them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Manning Martin, and thank you, Councilor Manning Martin, for taking the lead on that. I know you've been very involved and very appreciative on behalf of all of our veterans that they get the support they need, so thank you very much. Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, excuse me. I'd like to make a co-motion with Councilor Peach to have a handicap sign posted in front of 34 Evans Road, and I'd like to have an emergency preamble on that, if I could, please.
Thank you, Councilor Gould. I think maybe procedurally we need the emergency preamble first and separate, and then we can have the motion.
Thank you. So I'd like to have an emergency preamble for the handicap sign at 34.
Thank you. So on the motion, councilors, the first is going to be a roll call vote for the emergency preamble, and then secondly, we'll go for the motion. Roll call vote.
Councilors Daigle.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Melville. McGinn.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes. Thank you. And Councilor Gould, would you mind repeating the
Sure,
motion?
I'd like
Thank
to
you.
make a motion to have a handicap sign placed in front of 34 Evans Road. So move, Mr. Chairman.
And we'll amend that for an ordinance to be drafted as such as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor Gould. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Gould.
No further motions. I'd like to congratulate Councilor Manning Martin for helping us on that program. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Gould. Councilor Rossignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. No motions this evening.
Thank you, Councilor Rossignol. Councilor Gamache.
Yes, at this time, I would propose a co-motion for, with Councilor Daigle to send a communication to investigate the cost of sidewalks and curbs for one side of Felton Street. Send that to DPS. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor Gamache. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Gamache.
I'd also like to send a request under co-motion with Councilor Daigle to have the Police Department and DPS investigate the possibility of removing the double yellow line located on Felton Street. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Councilors, you've heard the motion. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Gamache.
At this time, I would ask that the Department of Public Services remove not a throughway sign at both ends of Hog Hill Road because it is not ordinanced. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Councilors, you've heard the motion. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Gamache.
Yes, under suspension of the rules, I'd like to go to item 8O. That's a request from BTD Investments LLC, 274 Newbury Street, for a special permit application. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Councilors, you heard the motion. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Gamache.
Yes, item 9B, presentation of petitions, memorials, and remonstrances. A block party, 9B, block party request, Tanner Ridge Road, June 10th. Seagull Circle, June 17th. Seagull Circle, July 1st. Alexander Street / Travis Terrace, July 4th, 2023. Move approval, all papers being in order.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Councilors, you heard the motion. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote.
I have no
Councilor
further
Gamache.
motions, Council.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Councilor Melville.
The rest is finance. I have no motions this evening, and I look forward to seeing everybody this the Memorial Day event. There is going to be flagging at Puritan Lawn on Saturday. Steve Patton, veterans agent, told me 9:30 a.m. They usually have a pretty good group. 9 a.m. on Saturday at Puritan Lawn will be the flagging at Puritan Lawn. They've already done Cedar Grove and I think St. Mary's last week, so that will be this weekend, and I look forward to seeing everybody then. And other than that, I hope everybody has a nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Melville, and thank you for that reminder as well. Before we move forward, Councilor McGinn, can I just ask Councilor Daigle to leave, and can you agree to take item 9A?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive and approve all papers being in order. Item 9A, outdoor dining license renewal for 2023 Bell Inn, 2 Washington Street, with the same conditions as the original license granted on October 28, 2021, except that in accordance with the March 17, 2023 application, condition 3 shall be modified to state permissible outdoor dining hours Sunday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. year-round. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, you've heard the motion. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do you want to ask Councilor Daigle to come back?
Thank you, Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. While we're on those, under suspension of the rules, move to receive and approve all papers being in order. Outdoor dining license renewal for 2023 Azorian Brothers, 20 Holly Street. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, have you heard the motion? On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On suspension of the rules, move to receive item 7A and refer to finance. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On suspension of the rules, move to receive item 7B and refer to finance. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, you heard the motion. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
I believe 8A is Ward 6, right? And that's... Councilor O'Neill's not here. Mr. President, under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8A and set up a public hearing. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, you heard the motion. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8E and refer to the Ad Hoc Committee on Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. On the motion?
On the motion, Mr. President, just for clarification, there's no action in committee on this. This is a bit of catch-up. This is the presentation that we received at the last committee hearing, so it's going to committee, but it's just for administrative purposes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, on the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8G and refer to the Ad Hoc Committee on Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed, it's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On suspension of the rules, move to adopt as advertised item 10A, bond order, land acquisition, an amount of $7,200,000. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, on the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, any opposed? Excuse me, that's a roll call vote. We're going to do a roll call vote, so roll call.
Councilors Daigle.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Manning Martin. Gould.
Yes.
Rozignol.
Yes.
Gamache. Melville.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you, councilors. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 10B and adopt as advertised an ordinance amending section 21-5 entitled Recreation Manager of the Code of City of Peabody. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilors, you heard the motion. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Daigle.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Manning Martin. Gould.
Yes.
Rozignol.
Yes.
Gamache. Melville.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 10C and adopt as advertised an ordinance amending section 18-21 entitled Schedule of Compensation for Full-Time Position Not Subject to Collective Bargaining of the Code of the City of Peabody. So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Daigle.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Manning Martin. Gould. Rozignol.
Yes.
Gamache. Melville.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. No further motions.
Thank you, councilors. Just want to wish everyone a wonderful Memorial Day weekend and hope to see everyone at the parade. And I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you, councilors. We are adjourned.